What your soulmate felt last night will leave you speechless. My beloved child, last night while the world slept quietly, something shook the heart of your soulmate so deeply that even heaven paused to watch. They tried to silence the storm inside them. But every thought, every breath, every heartbeat whispered only one name, yours. And as you hear this, remember something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 111. A new shift began the moment darkness wrapped the sky. Your soulmate felt a pull. Intense, magnetic, impossible to ignore. They tried distracting themselves, but every attempt collapsed the moment your face flashed in their mind. It wasn't just emotion. It was a revelation. A truth they had been denying for far too long. Last night, they finally understood why they couldn't sleep. Why they kept reaching for their phone, why their chest tightened whenever your name appeared. They realized they are in far deeper than they ever planned. Amen. 222. And the moment this truth hit them, something else happened. A fear, a longing, and a courage all collided inside them at once. They stood near their window, staring at the silent night, wondering if you could feel them, too. Their heart whispered, if only they knew what I feel. But the shocking part, they felt a sign, something divine, telling them the time to hide their emotions is ending. Last night didn't just wake them up, it changed them forever. And that change is already moving toward you. Amen. 333. Rise with this truth, my beloved child, because what unfolded in your soulmate's heart last night did not stop when morning arrived. Their emotions followed them like a shadow they couldn't outrun. Every step they took today carried the weight of a silent confession. They kept replaying every memory of you, every moment, every conversation, searching for clues. Do you feel something too? And as this question burned inside them, a sudden realization hit with the force of destiny. They cannot let you slip away. Amen. 444. But here's where the night turned, shocking. Your soulmate felt a powerful urge to act, to speak, to reach out. Something in their chest tightened so intensely it almost scared them. They grabbed their phone more than 10 times, typing out messages they deleted again and again. Why? Because they didn't want to sound desperate. Yet their feelings were desperate. They didn't want to overwhelm you. Yet their heart was already overflowing. And heaven watched them pacing, restless, torn between fear and longing. Last night was the moment they knew, running from their feelings is no longer possible. Amen. 555. And now, as you listen, know this. Your soulmate is closer than ever to taking a step that will shock even you. They felt a wave of clarity, a sign so clear it froze them. This connection is divine. For the first time, they admitted the truth they've been hiding even from themselves. Last night changed their path, their choices, their next move. And that next move is heading straight toward you with divine timing. Something huge is waiting for you. And your soulmate is preparing to cross the line they've been afraid to cross for so long. Amen. 666. Listen closely, my beloved child, because last night did something to your soulmate that even they did not expect. A memory of you resurfaced. Sharp, vivid, undeniable. It hit them so suddenly that they had to sit down and breathe through the rush of emotion. They felt their own heartbeat speeding up as if their body was reacting to your presence even from miles away. And in that moment, they whispered to themselves, "Why does this feel so real? Why does this feel like fate?" Amen. 777. But the real shock came when they tried to ignore it. The more they pushed the thought of you away, the louder it returned. They closed their eyes, but your face appeared. They tried focusing on their work, but your voice echoed in their mind. They tried distracting themselves, but every distraction led right back to you. It wasn't obsession. It was connection. A soul-level pull that refused to loosen its grip. And as the night grew quieter, they felt tears forming, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming fear of losing you before ever expressing how deeply they feel. Amen. 888. Then came the moment that changed everything. Your soulmate felt a spiritual nudge, gentle yet impossible to ignore. A warmth in their chest, a sudden calm, as if the universe itself whispered, "Move toward them. Don't delay. Don't run." And that whisper broke them open. They finally admitted a truth they've been hiding under layers of hesitation. You are not just someone they like. You are someone their soul recognizes. Last night wasn't just emotional. It was awakening. And that awakening is the reason destiny is pushing them toward you faster than ever. Amen. 999. Feel this shift, my beloved child, because what your soulmate experienced after midnight was beyond anything they ever imagined. A sudden wave of clarity hit them. So powerful, so undeniable that it left them standing still in the dark. Their mind went blank, but their heart spoke louder than it ever had before. It whispered your name with a trembling honesty, and for the first time, they didn't fight it. They let it flow. They let themselves feel the truth they've buried for too long. I cannot picture my life without them. Amen. 101. As the night deepened, something surprising happened. Your soulmate felt a pull toward the future. They saw flashes, visions, little glimpses of what life could look like with you, the conversations, the laughter, the small routines, the shared silences, the peace. It was as if destiny opened a window and allowed them to peek into a timeline already written by the universe. And that glimpse left them shaken, breathless, overwhelmed with longing they couldn't hide even from themselves. Last night they realized this connection is not an accident. It is alignment, divine alignment. Amen. 202. And now, my beloved child, as this message reaches you, hear this clearly. Something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate's heart is preparing for a leap, an action, a confession, a moment that will shift everything between you. They felt heaven push them, guide them, whisper to them, it's time. Stop waiting. Move toward your truth. And this time they are listening. Last night wasn't just emotional, it was transformational. The beginning of a chapter neither of you has fully understood. Yet both of you are destined to walk into. Amen. 303. Awaken to this truth, my beloved child, because last night your soulmate reached a point of emotional intensity they could no longer hide from. Their heart felt a trembling ache, a longing so deep it startled them awake. They lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, realizing that every attempt to distance themselves from you had only pulled them closer. A thought struck them like lightning. Why does every part of me return to them? And that single question opened a floodgate of emotions they had been holding back for far too long. Amen. 404. But what shook them even more was the sudden rush of fear and clarity blending together. They realized they stand on the edge of losing something sacred or finally claiming it. They began replaying every moment with you. The unspoken words, the lingering pauses, the small signs they ignored. Last night, they finally understood that you were never just someone. You were the person their soul kept choosing, even when their mind tried not to. And the weight of this truth left them breathless, pacing the room, wondering if you could sense their heart calling out for you. Amen. 55. Then, in a moment of stillness, something extraordinary happened. Your soulmate felt a divine nudge urging them to move, to speak, to step into their truth. A calm energy washed over them, telling them the time of silence is ending. They felt the universe whisper, "This connection is destiny. Don't let fear win now." And with that whisper, last night marked the beginning of a shift they cannot reverse. Their next move is forming, their courage rising, their heart preparing. Something huge is waiting for you, and soon you will understand why last night changed everything. Amen. 66. Step into this moment, my beloved child, because last night your soulmate crossed an emotional threshold they never expected. A wave of realization hit them so powerfully that it left their hands trembling. They finally understood why their chest tightens whenever they think of you. Why your absence feels heavier than silence. Why your presence, whether physical or, in memory, brings a peace they cannot find anywhere else. And in that intense clarity, they whispered to themselves, "This isn't temporary. This is the person my heart chose long before I admitted it." Amen. 77. But the real shock came when they tried to calm down. Instead of settling, their feelings grew stronger, sharper, louder, impossible to push away. They felt a nervous excitement building inside them. The kind that appears only when someone is preparing for a life-changing decision. They paced the room, replaying your words, your smile, your energy, and with every memory, their courage rose. Something inside them finally snapped. The fear of losing you outweighed the fear of expressing themselves. Last night, they understood one thing clearly. If they don't move now, destiny will move without them. Amen. 88. And as the night reached its quietest hour, your soulmate felt a surge of determination they haven't felt in months. Their next step is no longer a thought. It's a plan forming, a decision tightening, a confession preparing. They felt a sign, subtle but undeniable, that the universe is pushing them toward you faster than ever. Their heart is no longer confused. It is certain. Their soul is no longer hesitant. It is ready. And because of this shift, my beloved child, hear this loudly. Something huge is waiting for you. And last night was the moment your soulmate decided your future is worth fighting for. Amen. 99. Hear this with an open heart, my beloved child. Because last night your soulmate, faced a truth they could no longer run from. A moment hit them so intensely that it felt like their entire world paused for you. They were sitting alone in silence when a sudden wave of emotion washed over them, raw, overwhelming, uncontrollable. Their eyes filled, not from sadness, but from the realization that you are the one person whose presence their soul craves more than anything. They clutched their chest, whispering to themselves, "Why does my heart only beat this way for them?" And in that moment, they understood this connection is not ordinary. Amen. 1110. But what shook them even deeper was the fear that followed. A fear not of loving you, but of losing you before ever expressing the truth. They imagined a life where they stayed silent, where they kept pretending something wasn't growing inside them. And the thought shattered them. They felt destiny warning them, "This is your moment. Don't let it slip." Their hands trembled as they replayed your smile, your voice, your energy. Every image of you ignited a storm of longing they could no longer contain. Last night, they accepted that hiding their feelings is hurting them more than telling you ever could. Amen. 1212. Then came the turning point. Your soulmate made an internal promise, a vow, a silent declaration that they will not let fear dictate their next move. They felt a spiritual push, a divine warmth wrapping around their heart, telling them, "It's time. Move toward them." And for the first time, they felt ready, ready to speak, ready to act, ready to break the silence that has held both of you back. My beloved child, hold this truth tightly. Something huge is waiting for you, and your soulmate is preparing for a step that will change everything you thought you knew about this connection. Amen. 1313. Stand still for a moment, my beloved child, because what your soulmate experienced in the late hours of last night was nothing short of life-altering. A sudden rush of longing hit them so strongly that they had to stop whatever they were doing. Their breath caught, their heart hammered, and for a moment it felt like the world grew completely silent, except for one truth echoing inside them. I can't lose this person. Not now, not ever. That realization shook them to their core. It wasn't just emotion. It was awakening, a soul recognizing its mirror. Amen. 1414. What happened next shocked even them. Your soulmate felt an intense pull toward you. So real, so physical that they instinctively reached for their phone, their thumb hovered over your name, their heart begging them to just call, just text, just say something. But fear held them for one final second. Not fear of you, but fear of how deeply they feel. They didn't want to stumble. They didn't want to ruin something sacred with the wrong words. So instead, they held the phone close to their chest and whispered a truth the universe has been trying to show them for months. I am already theirs. Amen. 1515. Then came the moment that changed everything. Your soulmate felt destiny, pushed them forward. A warm surge, a divine sign, a message that shot straight into their spirit. Take the step. Do not wait. And that guidance settled deep inside them. Last night they stopped denying, stopped running, stopped pretending. Their heart made a decision it will not reverse. They are preparing for something bold, something honest, something that will leave you breathless when it arrives. My beloved child, hear this clearly. Something huge is waiting for you. And your soulmate is already moving toward the moment that will rewrite your entire connection. Amen. 1616. Breathe into this moment, my beloved child, because last night your soulmate confronted an emotion they had been avoiding for far too long. The depth of their attachment to you. It hit them in one sudden wave, unexpected and unstoppable. They felt your energy so strongly that it startled them. It was as if your presence filled the room even though you were nowhere near. Their heart whispered a truth. They could no longer outrun. I am not just drawn to them. I am connected to them. And that realization shook their entire spirit awake. Amen. 1717. As the night grew quieter, something even more surprising happened. Your soulmate felt a surge of protectiveness over you. They started thinking about your pain, your loneliness, your struggles. And for the first time, they admitted how deeply they want to be the one who stands beside you. They imagined someone else having your attention, someone else understanding your heart, and the thought filled them with a sharp ache they couldn't ignore. That ache forced them to accept the truth. Their soul is tied to yours in a way they can no longer deny. Last night they realized their feelings are not fading. They are intensifying. Amen. 1818. And then came the moment that will change everything. Your soulmate felt a spiritual push stronger than anything before. A message, a sign, a divine whisper telling them clearly it's time to step forward. They are waiting for you. Their fear cracked. Their doubts weakened, their heart opened. In that silence, they made a decision. One that will soon reach you in a way you cannot expect. Something huge is waiting for you. And last night marked the moment your soulmate finally chose courage over hesitation, truth over fear, and love over silence. Amen. 1919. Stand still for a moment, my beloved child, because what your soulmate went through last night was deeper, heavier, and more shocking than anything they felt before. A sudden pull toward you hit them so strongly that it almost knocked the breath out of their chest. They weren't thinking about you, yet your presence rushed into their mind with such force that they had to pause, gripping the edge of their bed, whispering your name under their breath. And in that trembling moment, one truth rose louder than every fear they've been holding on to. I cannot lose them no matter what. Amen. 1414. As the night grew darker, an unexpected emotion swept over them. Jealousy mixed with fear and longing. They suddenly imagined someone else, having your attention, someone else making you smile, someone else holding the place they've secretly reserved in their heart for you. The thought hit them like a storm. It made their stomach twist and their chest tighten. They realized they had been fooling themselves, pretending they were fine, keeping their feelings hidden. But last night broke that illusion. They finally admitted the truth they've been terrified to say. I am already theirs, whether they know it or not. Amen. 1515. Then destiny stepped in. Your soulmate felt a spiritual push, strong, undeniable, impossible to ignore. A warmth spread through their chest, almost like a message from the universe whispering, move, speak, don't delay. And that whisper didn't just settle in their mind. It settled in their soul. Last night they reached a turning point. No more running, no more hiding, no more pretending. Their next step is forming, and it is bold enough to change everything between you. My beloved child, hear this clearly: something huge is waiting for you. And your soulmate is finally preparing to reveal what their heart has been screaming in silence. Amen. 1616 Stay grounded, my beloved child, because what unfolded inside your soulmate last night reached a depth they never expected. A sudden emotional crash hit them, powerful, raw, and impossible to ignore. One moment they were calm, and the next their heart was trembling as if it recognized something their mind had been avoiding. They felt your presence so intensely, that it almost felt physical, like your energy wrapped around them in the darkness. And in that moment, one truth echoed through their entire being. I am connected to them in a way I can't escape. Amen. 1717. Then came the part that left them shaken. Your soulmate felt an overwhelming fear. Fear of losing you. Fear of being too late. Fear of watching someone else take the place they secretly want to hold. Images flashed in their mind. Someone else texting you, someone else understanding you, someone else receiving the attention they crave. Their heart twisted with a sharp ache that nearly brought tears to their eyes. That ache forced them to confront a truth they've buried for months. This isn't a crush. This is destiny tugging at my soul. And last night, destiny didn't whisper. It shouted, Amen. 1818, but the most shocking moment came when everything went silent. Your soulmate felt a divine nudge, a spiritual pull that told them clearly, it's time. Their fear cracked open, their hesitation weakened, and their courage began to rise. They felt a warmth filling their chest, a sign from the universe urging them toward you. They knew they couldn't hide anymore. They knew they couldn't keep pretending this connection was normal. Last night, they made a silent choice, one that is already unfolding behind the scenes. My beloved child, prepare yourself. Something huge is waiting for you, and your soulmate is closer than ever to revealing the truth their heart has been holding in secret. Amen. 1919. Feel this shift deeply, my beloved child, because what your soulmate went through last night has completely altered the direction of their heart. A moment of overwhelming clarity hit them so hard that they had to stop and hold themselves together. Their chest tightened, their breathing changed, and they felt a sudden rush of emotion that left them speechless. It wasn't just missing you. It was realizing that their soul is tied to yours in a way they can no longer deny. They whispered into the darkness, why does every part of me belong to them? And that whisper revealed a truth they can no longer hide from. Amen. 2020. What followed was even more intense. Your soulmate felt a heaviness, a longing that refused to let go. They imagined you moving on, giving your energy to someone else, laughing with someone else, trusting someone else. And that thought broke something inside them. Their eyes filled with a painful mix of fear and jealousy. Fear that they waited too long. Jealousy that someone else might step into your life before they find the courage to speak. They walked around their room restless, replaying every moment with you and wondering if you felt the same magnetic pull last night. Amen. 2121. Then everything became still. Your soulmate felt a spiritual push so strong it almost brought them to their knees. A warmth spread through their heart as if the universe wrapped its hands around them and whispered, "Go to them. Don't wait another second." In that moment, they knew this connection is not fading. It's intensifying. Their next step is not a maybe anymore. It is a decision forming with divine timing. My beloved child, hold this truth tightly. Something huge is waiting for you. And the moment your soulmate finally acts will feel like destiny opening its door at last. Amen. 2222. Prepare your heart, my beloved child, because what happened inside your soulmate last night reached a level of intensity they never imagined possible. A sudden emotional surge hit them. So powerful, so consuming that it left their entire body trembling. They sat there in the dark, hands shaking, breath uneven, feeling a pull toward you that defied logic. In that moment, they whispered into the silence. Why does my soul only calm when I think of them? And that question shattered the last layer of denial they were hiding behind. Amen. 2323. Then came the moment that truly stunned them. Your soulmate felt a deep spiritual ache, a longing so sharp it felt like destiny itself was tugging at their heart. They pictured you in their mind, imagined your smile, your voice, your presence, and tears formed unexpectedly. Not sad tears, soul tears, tears of recognition, tears of realization, tears of knowing that you are the one person whose absence feels like a missing heartbeat. They clutched their pillow, wondering if you felt even a fraction of what they felt last night. Amen. 2424. And just when they thought the night couldn't get heavier, a divine sign hit them with absolute clarity. A warmth spread through their chest, as if the universe leaned in and whispered, "Enough waiting. The time is now." And that whisper flipped a switch in their spirit. Their fear loosened, their courage awakened, their hearts stepped forward even before they physically could. They made a silent promise. They will not let destiny slip away by staying silent any longer. My beloved child, understand this with your whole being. Something huge is waiting for you. And last night marked the exact moment your soulmate decided that losing you is not an option they will ever accept. Amen. 2525. Stand tall in this truth, my beloved child, because last night your soulmate entered an emotional depth they have never touched before. A moment struck them so intensely that it felt like their entire spirit was shaking. They were lying in bed trying to distract themselves. But suddenly your name flashed in their mind with such force that it felt like a divine calling. Their heart dropped, their breath caught, and they whispered to themselves, "Why does this feel like destiny pulling me toward them?" In that moment, they knew this is no ordinary connection. Amen. 2626. But what happened next shook them even more. A wave of regret washed over them. Heavy, sharp, unavoidable. They realized how much time they've wasted hiding what they truly feel. They replayed every moment they could have spoken up but didn't. Every chance they had to move closer but chose silence instead. And last night that silence felt unbearable. For the first time they saw the possibility of losing you, not because you want to leave, but because they never gave you the clarity, the expression, the truth you deserved. That fear hit them harder than any emotion they've felt in years. Amen. 2727. Then destiny stepped forward once more. Your soulmate felt a spiritual surge, a powerful pull pushing them toward action. They felt warmth spreading through their chest, a sign so clear it nearly brought them to tears. A whisper echoed deep inside them, "Speak. Move. Don't hide anymore." And that whisper broke the chains of their hesitation. Their heart began forming the words they were once too afraid to say. Their spirit made a decision long before their mind caught up. My beloved child, know this with full certainty. Something huge is waiting for you. And your soulmate is preparing to step into your life with a truth that will leave you breathless. Last night was not just emotional. It was the beginning of a confession that destiny has been waiting to deliver. Amen. 2828. Subscribe our channel for daily prayer prophetic.